afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today at the inaugural launch of BMW Group Drive-In, a live event hosted by the BMW Group Government Affairs team that will provide the latest scoop on BMW Group activities. With the latest scoop on BMW Group activities in a short, informative virtual format. At the end of our feature presentation, we will be opening up the live event to some Q&As. So if you have any questions, be sure to start posting them in the chat function. As we all know, today is Earth Day, and it couldn't be more perfect that we are joined here today with Adam Langton to discuss Beyond the Car, Achieving a Clean and Sustainable Energy Future. Adam is the Energy Services Manager and ChargeForward Program Lead with BMW of North America. In this role, Adam develops and commercializes energy and data products related to BMW's electric vehicles. His main role is to lead the development and implementation of the ChargeForward project, but also develop other energy and data products that both generate revenue and help BMW achieve sustainability outcomes. Thank you, Adam, for joining us here today. I will now turn this over to you.
All right, thank you. And thank you to everyone who's joining us today, and happy Earth Day. My name is Adam Langton. I'm the Energy Services Manager for BMW North America. I'm based in our Mountain View Technology Office. And I want to share a couple slides and give you guys some background on what we're doing for grid sustainability as part of our effort to support clean electric vehicle charging. What we're doing here in California is really taking two opportunities to help make our electric vehicle charging cleaner and more sustainable. One is that we're working to bring more renewable energy to the grid, and that is represented there by the cows there on the left, and I'm going to explain why there are cows there in a second. When there's more renewable energy on the grid, there are more opportunities for our electric vehicles to charge with renewable energy, which makes it more sustainable and reduces the carbon emissions for charging. The other aspect that we're exploring is getting our electric vehicle charging to align with the times when there's more renewable energy on the grid. And we do that through smart charging. So these two aspects, bringing renewable energy to the grid and bringing electric vehicle charging to the times when there's more renewables on the grid, help get our electric vehicle charging more sustainable, reduce the carbon emissions associated with charging. But not only that, it also helps the grid itself reach higher levels of sustainability. Obviously, bringing more renewables to the grid is good for that. But when our electric vehicles charge using smart charging, when there's more renewables on the grid, when they do that, it helps the grid accommodate more renewables. So in this way, we're really helping not only decarbonize the transportation sector through our electric vehicles and through low carbon charging, but we're also helping the grid support more renewable energy, and that's helping our grid decarbonize. So it's a really exciting opportunity to bring these two sectors together, the electricity sector and the transportation sector together, to work together and mutually benefit one another, win-win to help reduce carbon emissions. What is electric vehicle smart charging? Electric vehicle smart charging is when we shift the time of our electric vehicle charging to align with times when there's more renewables on the grid. We do that by getting our customers to charge more during the day. We also do that by shifting their charging at night to align when there's more wind energy on the grid and other renewable resources. Our drivers are often parked for long periods of time and only need to charge for a couple hours of that time. And because there's that flexibility, we can shift that charging around and still allow our drivers to get their battery full and ready for their next trip. The BMW ChargeForward program, which is our smart charging program, talks directly to our vehicles for our participants and directs the vehicle on when to charge. We work with our customers to understand when they're leaving on their next trip, so we make sure that their vehicle is always full when they're ready to leave. And one aspect of this is that we can optimize their charging against renewable energy on the grid. So we can shift that charging to times when there's the most renewable energy on the grid. We do that by partnering with utilities who share with us the data of what's happening on the grid, what the needs of the grid are, so that we can help support that. And by doing so, then we're providing a benefit to the grid, and we share that benefit with our drivers who earn incentives by participating in our program. The other aspect of our sustainable charging in California is that we're partnering with dairy farms. And the reason we're partnering with dairy farms is because dairy farms can generate electricity using biodigesters. Biodigesters capture the manure on the farm and use that manure to capture the methane from the manure, methane to generate electricity and put it onto the grid. And by doing this, farmers can have a new revenue source. They can earn revenue by selling this electricity. We also are able to generate environmental credits through the California Low Carbon Fuel Standard program. And when we generate those credits, we share the value of those credits with our farm partners. And we both use those to support our mutual sustainability activities. What's really exciting about dairy biodigesters is that they have a double carbon emission benefit. And they're considered the cleanest source of electricity generation in California, according to the Air Resources Board. The reason for that is that they reduce emissions at the farm by capturing the methane that would otherwise be released from the farm into the atmosphere. When they capture that methane, they convert it into carbon through the burning process and produce electricity then that can be put on the grid and serves as renewable electricity. So not only does it replace fossil fuel generation on the grid, but it also eliminates the methane emissions that would otherwise happen at the farm. So we do see that there is some negative emissions associated with the burning of the methane, but it's far, far exceeded by the fact that we're eliminating those methane emissions and the fact that we're replacing fossil fuel generation on the grid. So this is an opportunity that we announced yesterday that we're expanding, and we're now partnering with 2 farms in California that are producing enough carbon savings that they're offsetting the entire emissions for all of our electric vehicle charging from BMW vehicles in California. And these are 2 initiatives, the Smart Charging Initiative that we're working on and this dairy farm partnership that we're looking forward to having grow over the next few years and looking for ways to expand it beyond California to the rest of the U.S. and beyond that potentially to other parts of the world as well. I'm going to go ahead and stop there, and I'm happy to answer any questions. And I'm going to stop sharing my screen for a second so that I can see the questions. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. First question, as we look forward to the future, what kind of advancements do you expect with smart charging technology? Which potential solutions will these innovations bring to current urban mobility challenges? That's a really good question. I think in terms of smart charging, I think there's kind of 2 areas where we're going to see advancement. One is improving the sophistication of what we can do with shifting charging. So that would be things like getting more specific data from utilities regarding when they want charging to happen, how much renewable energy they have on the grid, which parts of the grid have more renewable energy than other parts that they'd like us to focus on. And because we're using the vehicle telematics functionality to communicate with the vehicle, we can actually do smart charging with BMW vehicles wherever the vehicle is parked. It can be at work, it can be at home, it can be at another location. So we can use that to shift charging to the locations that the utility think are most desirable. Whether that's shifting from at home at night to during the day at work, that would be one example of that as well. Another another opportunity for smart charging in the future is bidirectional or V2G, where we're actually discharging the battery and putting the electricity on the grid. That's another opportunity that we're beginning to explore as well. And it has the potential to provide a lot more benefits to the grid because when you have the opportunity to discharge the battery, now you can help out at times when energy supply is low and help address that. So we announced last month that we're exploring this with PG&E, V2G technology with Pacific Gas and Electric, utility in Northern California. We're starting to evaluate how a utility would use a V2G resource, and then how we can have a V2G resource fit in with our customers, with their lives and with their transportation needs. And the second part of that question, which potential solutions will these innovations bring to current urban mobility challenges? What we think that this could help in an urban mobility context is particularly with addressing local grid impacts. In some cases, neighborhoods or certain blocks are overloaded or congested with load at certain times of the day. If we can manage the charging so that we can avoid those times, we can help the utility reduce some of the strain on the grid and reduce some of the costs associated with that. And that benefits ratepayers and who support that infrastructure, and it also benefits our drivers. Next question here. As the project manager for ChargeForward, which is our smart charging program, what led the inspiration behind pioneering the program at BMW? I think the inspiration for this was largely from the work that we've been doing in our brand, which is where we started our electric vehicle development. And one of the design principles for our brand vehicles was sustainability. And when we started making electric vehicles, we started looking at the entire manufacturing process to how to make it more sustainable. Looking at the energy that was put into the production process, and looking at the materials to use as many recycled materials as we could in the process. So we were using those as that kind of became an inspiration for us, because with the brand, we weren't just looking at the vehicle itself, we were looking at the inputs and the process to building the vehicle. And so what we then did is we said, well, how do we take that sustainability vision beyond the vehicle, beyond the manufacturing process, and look at how the vehicle is used? And so that's when we started saying, how do we make it more sustainable? Where are there opportunities to do that? And so I think it's an example of BMW Group looking at sustainability in a really holistic and sophisticated way, thinking about all of our processes and all of our touch points with all of our partners and our customers. And last question, what kind of partners could you envision contributing in future projects? That's a really good question. And it's really important in sustainability to think about what partners you're going to work with, because we're usually looking at new partnerships that emerge and new relationships that haven't existed in the industry in the past and across industries. So BMW has been one of the pioneers in terms of automakers with partnering with utilities. I think that's going to continue to be an important aspect of this. What we do with PG&E is we're able to get a renewable energy feed, and we use that as the basis for determining when there's a lot of renewables on the grid and when we should be charging. So we look forward to partnerships like that. But there's also opportunities to partner with facilities, fleet managers who use our vehicles in their fleets, and other energy service providers. We work with demand response aggregators who aggregate energy resources behind the meter, and we could potentially work in wholesale markets, working with wholesale market operators as well. So I think we're very open to the kind of partners we can work with in the future, and I think that's an important approach to take as we're moving into this new area of how the transportation sector intersects with the electricity sector. So I believe that was the last question, and I'll turn it back to Astrid to wrap us up.
Great. Thank you so much, Adam, for joining us here today. Not only was this a great Earth Day chat, but also a very good opportune time with the news of the expansion of our partnerships with both ChargeForward and Strauss Dairy. So I thank you again. I thank you to our audience for joining us today, and hope to see you all on a future BMW Group Drive-In. Don't forget to follow us via Twitter at BMW US Gov Affairs so you can stay updated on future BMW Group Drive-Ins. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.